So I often say that I've never seen a committed Nazi or like an obvious troon, but what there is a lot of that is almost like promoting terrorism, because like if you talk about any other way to collect, aggregate information to try to make a point, and you didn't mention Donald Trump, it sends like a signal alarm or something. Like you didn't say something negative about Trump, and perceivably you had, I don't know how many opportunities where you went on talking without bringing up Trump. So then they flip onto this like really hostile, like if you don't know that this and that and the terrorists this and that, and I don't know, I can't fucking, I don't know what to do, rah, rah, rah. If you can't see this, and, you know, they get all hyper fucking out of nowhere. Meanwhile, you're supposed to be the one who's uncouth, disheveled, and volatile, and like you're supposed to be the one that's supposed to go off, but yet they can have their cake and eat it too. It's just because there are so many people that when they have a morale that they could placate and patronize and pacify it, then they don't have to really care about that issue. There are people that did a little bit of research or reflection about the morale, that actually have a consideration for it, and they can tell the difference. Like you basically, so they don't really care that there are so many people who can obviously see their modus operandi, but because they feel like it's more important, then the noble lie has to be proliferated, because it's like such an important thing that it's more important than the truth itself. So like if you don't see this, then I have to assume that. Like if you don't do this or say that, I have to assume you this or you mean that. And they have these like little, nobody gives a fuck if you use an ultimatum to like clarify your perspective or perception. If it doesn't work, like that's like, okay, like all right, so then what are you going to do? Promote terrorism? Oh, the bullet, it was only an inch over. Well, he still has so many more attempts on his life that he has to survive. Like he just wanted, like if fucking killing Trump is going to improve your life, but you're still like you still give off rootin' tootin' shooter vibes. And it's cool because not until they catch you slipping up. But then how are you need safe spaces to get away and talk to the little people you want to organize. That's an echo chamber. You could tell me my channel is not successful. Maybe that means that nobody likes you. But you can't say it's an echo chamber. So, I mean, like, if you want to be shrewd and you just want to have a successful channel, and you wanted to give the most canned, robotic, like almost like a fucking synth bot, like if you just want to be like a conduit, you can be a conduit and have fucking million of views. It's not that, it's like you can make 100 channels and they all have fucking 100,000 fucking subscribers, and they don't have to give nobody nothing. So how are you supposed to fucking feel bad? Can you explain that? Because I didn't do enough to ensure that, like immediately people interact with the post, and then you like and you comment on a few comments and make it, seem like it's actually a show or a program that people watch. I ain't telling nobody anything they don't already know, but at the same time, you could tell, like, this is for me. Like, does anybody understand that? Like, putting expectations on somebody's channel, if you don't understand that they feel like they owe it to themselves, that's just whatever. But, so knowing that there's enough people, I mean, knowing that there's so many people out there that could see that your austerity and your piety is false, and it irritates them, you're okay with a certain amount of people knowing that. And it is bust down like sorcery for people who, like a lot of people who don't want to rock the boat because they may not know anything that makes them even privy or responsible for having an opinion. So it's like they're not going to egress because they didn't adopt my non-aggression principle, but you might need some form of egress to defend yourself. So get, you know, like telling people to push your line is egalitarian, and it's like an ultimate form of aggression. It's just that, it's just like, how is it that I have to be concerned myself with these people because out of sight, out of mind, right? Like, it shouldn't concern me that there is this push toward an age of austerity when we already had one, right? It shouldn't really bother me. Like, they're not egressing, right? Except that it's permeating every aspect of life. And then there's these people thrive in that shit. Like, you know what it is? You make them feel essential, and you tell them they'll be remembered forever for their contribution, and then they do horrible shit, like a medical tyranny shakedown scam, some, like, you know, man fucking made engineered like scare threat or something, but they kept it from getting out of hand, but they wanted it to be, you know, enough fear porn enough, you know what I mean, so that people feel like they're being mindful instead of having to be compassionate. Like, it's like, and not only that, you're essential, so anybody who doesn't do what you do is not consideration, and you never had a fucking fortitudinal characteristic feature added to you because you wore a mask. And then talking to science, like, is apparently like they'll run sewage pipelines right next to the drinking water so that one seeps into the other. Every fucking 3 or 4 years, they're still making the same mistake, spilling raw sewage into the Lake Tahoe or some lakes or some, like, bay or something. Like I understand mercury, some of it's natural and seeps up from cinnabar and fucking minerals in the earth, right? But how is it that once we made so many fucking Valdez oil, like, mistake that, like, that's different. Like, I guess oil demand is so, but what about just fucking not spilling sewage into the water? Like, you would think that we're being mocked, you know, by accepting the standard for allowing that accident to reoccur like 2 or 3 times a decade, and you're like locally, and so this must be making this mistake everywhere. You need the water to pump from the lake into the sewage plant. You don't need the sewage plant to fucking become a dam up against the fucking gate and spill over. Then you can't, like Chernobyl or something, you can't control it. That's fake. Like, they're lying. They're doing that shit on purpose. It's like they gotta make you feel crazy. Like, if they find out you wear a particular hat, then they'll, you know, switch it out for the same hat that's like a little bit smaller. So you're like, what's happening? My hat is too tight. Is my head growing? And then they'll replace it with one that's an inch, like a size and diameter too large, so that then you put it on and be like, no, it's loose. What the fuck is going on? Like, trying to just make you like loony, because you know what it is it's convenient and it's cool when everybody thinks that you're essential because you're listening to science and reason. Then even if it's not what you really have to do, you could say, I'm waiting for facts, but you're just waiting for approvals because we forgot that shit floats downstream. Did you know, you think we forgot shit floats downstream? So if the fucking flavor or of this shit that's flowing downstream is a, like, somebody that you don't want to make you think that you don't like it or something like that, then that changes everything. It might change everything for you, because if the excuse that you have is that I have a family and I have to support a family, so I have to push these you know, these like psychological what's it called, LARPing. I got a LARP for a false narrative, all right, because I have to support a family, but and you understand that I have to do that, right? And at some point in time, having done so, what is it provided that there is to look up to or to say is honorable, so that even your kids, like, it doesn't have the effect of them having respect for what you did at some point in time? Because if you fucking push over rights roughshod of everybody, then you think that and that enough of the ire of the monkey fist is not fucking bad for you. That's why you have healthy people dropping dead, and people with bad habits can live into their, you know, 60s and 70s. It's like, I don't know, maybe to an extent. I mean, maybe that's not completely true either. I can't just be generalistic about shit, because then people are like, you know, fall into other categories, and then you have to act like they did something wrong or something like that. You make claims that they are still locked in a cycle of incarnation or something like that, or it's salvific or something. Like, you have to say that they're not listening to the, like, you know, to the creator. And then what if God didn't put it on them to weave through all that stuff, because he actually made a few neck breathers just because they're positive and they're supportive and they want to be upbeat and everything. If you talk about this stuff, like, they'll just interpret as you don't like them, and they'll just like have a you know, a crisis that you shouldn't have put them through, you know. Like, it's like you think you're waking people up. Like, stop doing that. You're like this truthing shit. It's just more important to be balanced than it is to be the person with all the answers. So I'm talking like I'm not trying to be the person with all the answers, and I don't want to be. Just like Terrence McKenna, right? Devil worshiping ass Terrence McKenna. It's cool. The music I listen to is pretty devilish. Like, I have my reasons for listening, though. You know, I can appreciate that it doesn't put everybody in the right place, or if they think that it's utterly, totally crap garbage, but I have my reasons, so, you know, whatever.